On today's boss list, we're taking down the Hundred-Eyed Daoist Master. He has two different phases and his attacks can do shock or poison damage. So any points into your shock or poison resistance may be a good idea. For the spells, I decided to bring in a Ring of Fire and Cloud Step. For the transformation spell, chose Guanzi because I love that burn damage. Wandering White for the Spirit and the Wind Tamer for the Vessel. Now because this boss likes to move around a lot, we're going to use the arena to our advantage. So instead of charging him right away, get his attention, then turn back around and run into the right corner of the map that has a slight slope. You should be able to recognize it by the rock sitting in the corner. This is where we're going to hold our ground, and this is where we're going to fight. Keeping your character positioned around this corner will reduce the boss's movement massively, and it'll help you out when you're trying to target his legs to get some damage in. And I advise that you use your transformation spell early in this fight, just in case you need to use it later on. So aside from him stomping around with his legs and swinging around with his sword, he has a close range attack where he'll spit poison on you. You can see this coming when he lifts his hand up in the air and then sweeps back down. Try to dodge this by jumping towards the back of his body. The majority of his attacks land in front of him, and his sword attacks have a long delay before he attempts to land them. His three-part combo will have a delay with the first attack, the second attack will be normal speed, and the third attack will be a long delay before it lands. This is a good time to get some hits in when he lands with that third attack. At some point when you get his health down low enough, he'll dig into the ground and start to look for you. You can see where he comes up at where the lightning starts to strike. If you're having trouble dodging this, just cast Cloud Step, because he will go back down underneath the ground for a second time and he'll stick his tail up and spit out poison. He'll do another attack where he'll shoot his sword down. Wherever that sword lands, make sure you're not in the area, because that's where he's going to come up at and start swinging it around. Use this time to back up in the corner. This boss does have some ranged attacks, and some of them may miss you completely because you're on a slope. Eventually he will approach you, and when he does, he has a three-part sweeping attack that is extremely delayed. Take your time with dodging this one, and for the third attack, wait for him to bring his sword back up from the ground before dodging. And try not to use the spells as best as you can. Of course, use Cloud Step and a Ring of Fire if your health gets too low, but mainly focus on using Wandering White, your Wind Tamer ability, and your transformation spells, because those won't use any mana, and hopefully they'll be recharged by the second phase of the fight. Save your mana as much as you can. Keep the boss stunned, and remember that a Ring of Fire can also stun the boss when you cast it. If the boss does decide to cast one of his range attacks that shoot multiple lightning bolts at you, you may have some difficulty trying to dodge it. What I advise you do is just block it. If you get caught by this, it can do a ton of damage and possibly end the fight. So just hold the block button until he's finished shooting. Now, like with most bosses, he has a grab. If you're unlucky and he does end up grabbing you, he's going to take you to the center of the arena. When you get there, heal and then try to get some more damage in. Watch out for his attacks where he raises his sword up in the air and charges it with lightning. It's a three-part attack. He'll throw two wind slashes at you and then shoot a beam from the front of it. You can dodge the horizontal one by dodging forward, you can dodge the lateral one by dodging left or right, and you can dodge the beam by dodging forward as well. While you're in the open, you definitely want to try to get as many stuns in as you can. Stay as close as possible to his legs and watch out for his ranged attacks. If your fight goes on long enough, your transformation spell will have charged back up and you can transform back into Guanzi. Try to get in as many hits as possible to try to build up that burn meter. And you'll be using Guanzi's health bar and not your original health bar. So it's okay to take some damage here, but just don't take too much before you knock him into the second phase. Once you get his health down low enough, you'll stagger him, then he'll dig into the ground and go to the middle of the map. This is the moment when you need to get as far away as possible as you can. He's going to start a dialogue where he'll start glowing gold. At this point, you can cast Cloud Step if you're not far enough away, or if you're in that back corner, just put your back as far as possible to the wall. Eventually a cutscene will start and you'll be back in the middle of the arena. His sword will be gone and he'll have a whole new set of attacks. Watch for his hands when they glow gold. His attack will still be delayed, but it'll let you know what's coming. He'll also do an attack with his tail. He'll first sweep at you with it, then bring his tail back around for a ground smash. At the peak of his height, it'll have a slight delay before he brings it down. One of his big damage attacks is when he charges up and he releases an explosion. Dodge this as soon as you see the light flash. And he'll normally follow this up with a tail swipe. While he's in this phase, the majority of his attacks will be electrified. And he likes to end his combos with the tail smash. He'll try to fake you out by attacking twice with his hands and then charging up, but instead of doing a blast, he'll bring his tail up and then smash it back down to the ground. If you're close enough to him when he prepares to do an attack, you can cast Wandering White to interrupt his spell or whatever attack he's about to do. And if Wandering White's not available, just use your Wind Tamer. Whenever he does his large ground smash, he has a slight delay when he hits the peak of his height. Wait only until he starts to come down to dodge. Then you can start to get in some damage, because he'll lay flat just for a few seconds. While the boss is in this phase, he loves to use his tail to do attacks. Aside from just doing the regular slam attacks, he has an attack where he'll swing his tail around, jump up into the air, before coming back down for a smash. When he does this, wait for him to hit the peak of his height, and then once he starts to flip his tail over, then dodge. It's going to seem like this boss is getting more and more aggressive as you get his health down. He'll even start to use a skill that'll let him disappear to switch up his combos. If you hear him start up a dialogue and disappear, he's going to start up a range attack where your only job is to dodge. You can see this coming each time that you see a flash of light hit your character. When that first initial flash of light hits your character, it'll be followed up with the lightning beam. Try to dodge a half a second after you see that light hit your character. It's just a warning letting you know that it's coming. Now this attack can last for quite a bit. You just have to be patient. You'll know when it's over because he'll end it in two different ways. He may throw a sword into the ground and then teleport to it, or he may try to grab you. Because this boss has long build-ups before his attacks, it's very easy to see which attack he's going to do, which makes it even easier for you to decide which attacks you want to try to get some hits in on. One of the biggest openings that this boss has is when he puts his hands together and charges up a lightning ball. As long as you're not in front of him, this won't do any damage to you. Dodge to the side of him and do damage the whole time he's charging up and casting the spell. Be patient, take your time, look for those delayed attacks, and take this boss down. Let me know down in the comments who's your favorite characters so far. Hope you enjoyed this one and learned something new. I'll catch you on the next one.
Grandmaster, I need you.